Hey, how are you all tonight? Welcome to Integrative Preparedness. I want to talk today about, or this evening, about the fact that things can change in an instant, and at any instant. We're headed back from Des Moines. It's pretty country up there now. When we get into northern Missouri, I really like northern Missouri. But anyway, we're headed home. We just ate Chick-fil-A. And now I have a 15-hour-old chocolate-covered gas station donut in my stomach, so I'm happy and ready to go. As preppers, or actually as PMPs, and if you're new to the channel, I don't really like the term prepper. I coined the term PMP for preparedness-minded person or preparedness-minded people, and that the difference is that a PMP is one who has made it a part of their life to the extent that they don't really think about it anymore. It's just a natural part of it. Somebody left a comment, I think on this morning's video. They said that Canadian preppers started using the term PMP. Well, that's good. Good for him. Just remember that I invented it. Whenever we're out of town, and you should always realize that everything can change in an instant. We live in an uncertain world. We have a lot of things going on right now, and probably the most, it's hard to know exactly what's the most unstable situation, but certainly our situation with China right now is fairly fluid, and we know that as things escalate, cyber attacks are a possibility, or the big one, like what my books were about, an earth-killing CME. We are assured by science that will happen at some point. But wherever we are, for those of us who kind of live the life, it's always in the back of our mind. If it happens right now, are we good? Are we set? What do we do? What's the next step, right? And it's not a matter of worrying about it. It's not a matter of being obsessed with it at all. As a matter of fact, most of us barely think about it. It's just one of those scripts that's always running in the back of our minds. Are we good? Whenever we go out of town, there's somebody at our door. Yes, my Ring doorbell just gave me the alert that somebody's at our door. People are home, so everything's fine. Whenever we're away from home, there's a few things that I always do to make sure we have the bags. We make sure that we have food for however long it might take us to hoof it home. Now, the funny thing is, and not so funny, but interesting. When I wrote my first book, The Reversion, and I started writing it in probably 2015. It came out in 2017. There was this thought that if a CME hit, everything would stop, including all automobiles. And so that's the way that I wrote the book. And those of you who have read it, read that Jim Wyatt, the main character, he was caught away from home, and it was going to take him some time to get back home, and so he found himself a bicycle, and so he could get home quicker. But since that time, more information's come out, more studies, more people have studied the effects of CME. Now, we've never experienced it, and so realize that this is all theoretical for the most part. But the current thought is that most vehicles will probably still run, which is a good thing. Back then, it was thought that anything with a circuit in it or any electronics would shut down. It doesn't seem to be the case. Who knows? We'll find out when it happens, right? But so that's not one of my major concerns. But getting home, of course, is the major concern and the primary goal. When I'm on the road, I was just texting with a friend of mine back home. Not while I was driving, but while Kelly was driving. I was just texting about he picked up a couple of new defensive items, and we were discussing different calibers and such. And I told him, even though, and most of you know, I prefer 45 in a handheld defensive tool. But when we're on the road, and even sometimes at home, but especially when we're on the road, I will go 40, simply because I will bring one of those tools for each person who is old enough to handle them. And that way, and it's got good capacity. 40 is not as effective as a 45, but it's got capacity that almost equals a 9. And that way, I don't have to carry different calibers, and I can just carry one and have enough spare in case it takes us a while to get home. That's just me. When you're on the road, also, I never let the gas get below half a tank. Now, if you're out west, sometimes you've got more distance between fuel stops than a half a tank, but I never like to let it get below half a tank, and I always like to be in a spot to where I can pretty much get home or close to it with what I have in the tank. And luckily, I have vehicles that have large gas tanks. The thing to keep in mind, and like I so often say, the first step in preparedness is recognition. It's mindset. It's being aware that things can happen, being aware of what may happen, and having an understanding of what you need to do to be ready for it. Okay? You want whatever comes your way to have as little effect on you as possible. Now, if all of a sudden I popped over this next hill and I saw that there weren't any lights showing from any of the exits or the occasional truck stops that's along the road or the communications towers, then I'd know that something was wrong, right? And I'd say, well, things are down. We'd be checking the radio and seeing if we could get reception. The chances of that, very small, but the thing is, the comparative severity of it is enough to call you to give it the attention it deserves. I'll just put it that way. We don't know if and when anything would happen. It's not something that you ought to be dwelling on all the time. It's not something that you ought to be worried about ever. And when you've taken the right steps to get ready for something, you don't worry about it anymore, right? It's like taking a test in school. The ones who worry about it are the ones who didn't study. The ones who studied go, man, it's good. It's a test. Let's go do it. Same thing with being prepared. But the point is, you need to realize that everything can change in a split second. And there's no going back. You all remember, I think I mentioned this morning, you remember 9/11? Remember when you first heard about it? And at first there was a bit of confusion. What do you mean a plane ran into a building, right? And then pretty soon another plane ran into the building next to it. And people, very slowly, there was still a lot of confusion. And most people, it took them a while to really accept what was going on. And most people couldn't, for a long time, accept. I remember that Kelly asked me if I had been surprised when that happened. And I said, no, not at all. Of course, she accuses me of not being surprised by much. Anything. She asked me earlier, she says, are you stressed about such and such? And I said, no. She says, you never get stressed about anything. Guys, that's a secret. Don't get stressed. If you've thought about it, if you're prepared, if you think you can handle it, there's no room for stress. And all stress does is wear you down and make whatever it is you need to do a lot more difficult, right? But anyway, realize and remember what happened in 9/11. It changed the world, in a split second. And it changed it for a long time. We're still living with the ramifications of that, right? So just realize it. Thought I'd jump on and and mention that because it could be sometime when you're just driving down the street. It could be when you're at work. It could be when you're at school. It could be when you're out in the field plucking carrots. All of a sudden, something happens that changes your world completely. And guess what? The time for preparation is over. So, the time for preparation is now. Make the best use of it. Do it smart. Don't do it out of fear. Do it methodically. Do it with a clear head, clear mind. And you'll do all right. Okay, I didn't even get a chance, and I'll be mentioning this more because we have a lot of new people joining the channel, and welcome to you all. You know, one of the things that I'm really happy to hear is so many of the people, the newer people who are joining, tell me that they're sick and tired of all these fear porn channels, and they were happy to find this one, to where we just talk about things. You know, we'll talk about the potential threats and problems, but not in a way that you're just supposed to be scared of. You're supposed to prepare for it. You're not to be scared of it, right? And everything you do should add to the quality of your life now. There's no reason to sacrifice the happiness of today because you're fearful of tomorrow. Live this day, the day the good Lord has given you. Remember that verse, one of my favorites. This is the day the Lord has made. We will be glad. We will rejoice and be glad in it. That's right. He didn't say I'll be fearful and sad and down and everything like that. No. Live your life, live it happy, live it positive. And for the new people, if you're not familiar with me, I'm the guy that wrote the Stonemont series. If you'd like to read a great series, people tell me it's great. The reversion, the revival, the renewal, and appeal to heaven, the blessings of freedom, hostages to fortune, and on wings like eagles. And yeah, I'm working on number 8. It's a series of books about a prepared family and how, as a result of their preparedness, they were able to continue living a great life after the collapse of everything. And not just themselves, but go out and help other people too, and recreate communities and such. It's a great series. If you haven't read it, you'd like it, I think. A couple ways you can get it. One through Amazon. The link's down below. You can get it from Amazon in paperback or Kindle or Audible. Or you can get it even a better way, and that's directly from me through our website, stonemont.us. Now, I can't get it to you in Audible or Kindle, but what I get to do is I get to sign it for you and write a little note in the books for you. And you can also buy the whole set through us at a discount, which you can't do through Amazon. And the way to do that is also down below. There's a link down below. It says something like buy my books through, whatever, stonemont.us. And we toss in a little freebie for you, the Stonemont notebook, which is really cool. So anyway, just realize, don't be all rattled about things, but realize that everything can change in the blink of an eye. And when that blink comes, you got to be ready for it, not pulling your hair out or running around yelling and hollering. You have to be ready for it. And the time to get ready is now. Okay? Remember that we prepare well today in order to live well tomorrow. And I will talk to you probably tomorrow. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.